Hello, everyone. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we're going to have Michael. Michael is from Chicago in the USA. So let's see what Michael has to say. Enjoy the interview. Okay. So hello, Michael. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm very well. Thanks so much for taking the time today for the interview. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thanks for considering me.
So tell me, how is your day going so far today?
It's going well. I'm getting a few things done that I needed to get done. Of course, never getting everything done that I need to get done, but it's going to be a busy tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday. I have uh, just a whole bunch of stuff I have to get done, and it's not enough hours in the day to do it. So,
So tell me, where are you from, Michael?
let's see. I grew up, well, essentially, I am from a little town called Lake Forest, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
And um, that's where I grew up since I was in fourth grade. Prior to
Okay.
that, did a little spent about well 2 school years in Westlake, Ohio, and then prior to that, I was in New Jersey, which is where I was born. So uh,
Wow.
I've I've been basically a Midwest boy most of my life, um, and went to school in the Midwest at Michigan State for undergrad. Went to the University of Chicago, got my master's in finance there, and
Wow.
I have never worked for a company in Chicago, even though I've lived here my entire life, I would say, adult life. I have not worked for a company in Chicago since my first job out of Chicago for a company called Ameritech, which was the phone company at the time. So
Amazing. So tell me, what is the best part of waking up in Chicago every morning?
the best part of waking up in Chicago. Um, I love the seasons and I love the access to true city culture in Chicago that you don't find in any other than I guess I'm a city snob. So like I think when I think of culture, I think of like Chicago, I think of New York, I think of LA, San Francisco, um, I think of Seattle, or Denver, Dallas, but those are cities with like a real broad array of people and cultures. And so that I feel like in the Midwest, we're kind of it. So, you know, I spent a lot of time in Cleveland. Cleveland's a wonderful city, but it just doesn't quite have uh, the same wow factor, right? That maybe some of the other bigger cities do. So, anyhow, so I love that, and I love the seasons. I really do. I mean, I know everybody likes to complain about winter, but you know, the truth is it's every season gets boring when it's too much of one thing. I mean,
That's
I thought I thought I was going to move to Hawaii when I retired someday and live there, but having spent a lot of time in Hawaii, I can tell you that sunny skies every single day is does get very monotonous and gets old quick. So seasons are good.
And what do you do for work, for living?
So right now I'm not doing anything for work. Actually, I'm looking for work. I took a year off um, after my last gig at an AI company. So I run sales and operations organizations for tech companies,
Hmm.
and I uh, got or laid myself off a year ago. I took my entire team to Hawaii, my happy place, and to celebrate a fantastic year and hitting and exceeding the revenue goals. And then when I was there, um, my uh, president of the company, I was with the founders and CEO of the company and their family. They were in from Melbourne, Australia. They met us there, and they announced it while we were on the trip. Some layoffs that happened,
Ooh.
and
Wow.
I was on that list, of course, but I was not supposed to announce that until I got back. So that made it for a bit of an awkward trip, unfortunately. So the timing wasn't so great. But so yeah, I'm now excited about getting back into it, and I'm literally, as we speak, starting my search again. So
Amazing. Very good. I think it's, those time of life that you're not expecting the things to happen, and suddenly it happens, and you need to come up with a new plan.
Yep.
Absolutely
That is me reinventing myself constantly.
amazing. And all your family are back in New Jersey, or they live as well in Illinois?
So we are all spread out now. I am the only one left in Illinois. My
Hmm.
mother is in Michigan, about 2 hours away around Lake Michigan, in
Yep.
a town called Holland, Michigan. My little brother and his wife and two boys live in San Mateo out in California. Sorry, San Carlos. They used to live in San Mateo. Now they live in San Carlos. And my sister lives in Kansas City, and my father lives in Charleston, um, North Carolina. Charleston, no, Charleston, South Carolina. Which one? Where's Charleston, North or South?
I
I,
always get confused.
I'm terrible at geography. So anyway, um, so yeah, so we're all spread all over the place. I got people in Florida, Texas. I mean, you name the state, I think they've got a Guerrieri, God forbid, somewhere doing something uh,
Amazing.
hopefully productive.
All right, so during the interview, I'm going to explore a little bit more about your life overall, okay?
Sure.
Before we start our journey within the magic box, I would like you to tell me something interesting about yourself or something that not many people know about you.
I'm not sure if I should. These are the things that they say to you. Oh, these are really cute things, but don't ever actually be too honest. Um, let's see. And I always am. I always overshare. So that's the thing I always kind of joke about. But you could see me a mile away. Anyhow, all right. Let's see. Something people don't know about me. Let's see. A couple of things. I'm going to do sort of one funny and one morbid, like or sort of serious. It's how I buy birthday cards. I buy a funny birthday card and a serious one. Let's see. I would say one thing that people don't know about me is I died 3 times.
Wow.
Yes, and lived to tell about it. Went over, saw all kinds of dead relatives, and floated above my body. Did that whole thing, but came back and you know changed my life. And that was when I was 18 years old. And another thing people I think kind of find funny about me is I am completely obsessed with stick vacuums and floor cleaning products because I am OCD about my floors in my house being incredibly, dog free from hair and anything else. I love vacuuming. So that's how I process a lot of my time, a lot of my day. It's kind of a meditation for me, if you will. I think it's the sound, the soothing sound.
Oh my God. I'm just picturing now your house, the cleanness of your house, spotless. Oh my
You
goodness.
could eat off the floor, quite literally. Yes, but yeah. So
When you
yeah,
mention about
there could be worse things, right?
amazing, I think he's just a tidy person. Why not? It's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Um, when you mention about that you died 3 times, it means in different time or in the same period, like the same. What did happen? If you can share.
Sure. So I was in a car accident. I was a passenger in a car. I was in a car accident. A drunk driver hit us head on the highway. And he was trying to make a U-turn, and we were in the lane that he was doing the U-turn into, so we hit him. And I was a passenger, and I had unclipped my seatbelt because I reached back for a mixtape because I was driving with one of my best friend in high school. And so I did one of these, but I didn't quite get the seatbelt in, and I did the imaginary brake with my right foot. So I broke my right ankle, and I literally punched a hole through the floor of the car. Anyhow, so so yeah, that was the accident. So that accident, I was not the most injured. Ironically, the drunk driver was sadly. I say sadly because you know, the man had, an illness, disease. We now know that it's a disease. A lot of folks have it and have suffered through it. So this man was at 4:30 in the afternoon for him to be, that drunk, with two other lady friends in the car with him. just as an indication to my, my first thought is, oh God, this person's really in pain. They're just really suffering, right? But
Right.
he ended up being the worst off. He ended up in a vegetative coma and then eventually passed away as a warden of the state. So it was sad. But I was probably the next most injured person. And so throughout the uh, 26 days I spent in the hospital, um, I flatlined few times. Yeah.
Wow.
Once
Wow.
the first night in ICU, another time when they were operating on me 4 days later, when I got strong enough, they operated on me, and I went over and where I floated above my entire surgery. I can tell you every detail of that surgery, the music that was played, the people's names, what they were wearing. I can tell you the exact number of pieces and I don't even know what they're called, but I can draw them out and tell you what was on the table. I can tell you the serial number of the striker equipment in the room. So
Wow.
it's just an incredible attention to detail that I had when I was over there. And then the
Wow.
third time was a few days later after surgery, and that's when I got to go over and see friends and family who passed on, and
Mm.
uh, met met a half brother I had who was not born, didn't make it through, but I was introduced to him. And no one on this earth knew about that, apparently, other than my mother, my father, and the doctor.
Wow.
So the fact uh, that I came back with all kinds of information about him, etc., I think, there's things you look for to sort of validate whether this is just some crazy dream you have, something your brain does as an experience before you die, or if it was real. And all I can tell you is, my experience is that it was more real than what I did for breakfast this morning, right? I mean, it's just
Wow.
and the clarity of detail is, gosh, uh, almost 40 years later, is still with me. I can remember the details of these events more clearly and accurately than what I did yesterday.
Wow.
So
Well, thanks so much for sharing, Michael. I think those events in life, as you said, you remember the details and, of course, left a mark in your life, left something there that's always going to be with you, So, yeah, thanks for sharing.
you're welcome.
Are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and share your point of views?
I sure am.
Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So, I've got here my best friend. Okay, full of wonderful questions. I'm just going to play a song now, just for us to relax a bit before the first question, okay?
Okay.
Let's, let's do it.
Okay, let's go.
All right, so before we start the game, during the join, if it comes up a question that you don't want to talk about, some reason you don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Okay.
First question for you is, what makes you very sentimental?
Family and friends.
Tell me about it.
Um, one thing I've learned through my life is that the only constant is change, which is a cheesy, cliche saying, but um, friends and family come and go. I mean, literally come and go, physically on this earth and whatnot. But I've learned to accept the fact that there are friends and people that come into my life that are meant to only be a part of my life for a specific amount of time, and then we do our thing together, and then we move on. We kind of go our separate ways and continue on our journey. Um, and I think of so many great people, great humans, great energies that I've met on that journey so far. And that makes me kind of sentimental because some of them I don't see or speak to anymore,
Mm-hmm.
for no particular reason necessarily. It's not like we're in a fight or anything, but we just sort of lost touch and it's
Yeah.
weird. You can reach back out to them, but then you can't capture that again. So sometimes it's just better left where it is and as is, and you just keep going forward. So, yeah.
I understand what you mean, and it's interesting because sometimes, for some reason, it can reconnect again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It can
Yes.
happen. So it's, I think, just the journey of life. You know, it's I had so many stories here on the show that people, they didn't talk for 20 years, and suddenly when they got connected again, they felt like those 20 years was like 20 days. You know,
Yeah.
and it's that's what is fascinating about life. And again, it's meant to be. It will happen. If not, it's just meant to be the other way around.
Yeah. I thought Facebook was going to do that for us. And in the beginning, I think Facebook did that for me personally anyway,
Mhm.
where it made it when I would see my friends that I hadn't seen in a year or 2 or 3 or 5 years, we would be able to catch up on meaningful things, not on, the kids and what they're doing and where they went on vacation, because you'd see all of that, right? They
Yeah,
would post that. So, unfortunately, Facebook for me just kind of became uh, a a place that I didn't really enjoy, and I ended up I'm all off of all social media. I'm on Instagram. I don't think I have any followers. I think I'm on Instagram. Why did I sign up for Instagram? I signed up for some reason. Uh, there was something I wanted to have access to at Instagram. Probably following somebody anyway. But yeah, other than that, I've just kind of stepped away from it for a few years, and I have to say, for me personally, it's been really nice because I stay in touch with and clued in on the lives of people that are most important. And no one can handle having thousands of friends. I mean, real friends, acquaintances, absolutely,
yeah.
but real friends, that's just too much. I don't think humans are built that way. So um, it kind of causes you to focus, if you will, on who's important and why.
Very interesting. Yeah, I understand. Next question. Let's do it. Next question for you is, if you could go back in time in one moment or memory in your life, what that would be and why?
Oh, there's two that come to mind.
Yeah.
Um, First would be the last time I saw my grandfather. I was 5 before he
Wow.
passed, and he was arguably the most influential and healthy male relationship I've had in this lifetime. There was never any kind of quid pro quo. It was the most unconditional love I think I've ever felt from another human. So I would love to go back. If I could, that would be good. I know I would just be 5 years old again, but I would hopefully have a little bit of my brain so I could do some of the things I wanted to do with that 5-year-old brain and ask him some questions. So that's one, and then I think it would be to go back to September 10th and uh, tell tell a good friend of mine not to go to the World Trade Center that day and to take the day off with his family because he didn't take time off enough with his family, and they just moved out to Long Island, and so he had this crazy train commute, like an hour each way. And I just would have found something that would have kept him from going into the office that day. But um, that's it. Those are the I know other people would probably say something like, go back and buy Google stock when it was $5 a share or something, or Apple stock. But, you know, I don't know. Again, I think, the most important things in my life are the people and the experiences that I share, because I think that's the only thing that you get to take with you when you pass. Everything else stays, right? So, uh,
Absolutely.
yeah. And, yeah, but Steve Jobs, I remember, figured that out about 6 or 8 months before he passed away. He said, um, he said, "Man, I really screwed this up, and And I said, no, no, no. What do you mean? What do you mean? And he went out. We had a private conversation, but at the end, it became much more optimistic. But he realized that just none of those things mattered, really. It was the people and the experiences that he had. That's all he was going to take with him. So there you
Wow,
go.
absolutely. Wow. Thanks for sharing those very memorable lessons, for the reasons that you're never gonna forget. And of course, if we had the superpower, as you just mentioned about going back on time, just change this little, maybe, way that it was, real and it happened, I think, again, it would change a lot of things, but it meant to be this way for some reason. And maybe we're gonna die without knowing why that happened, but it just meant to be this way. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But
I do believe like we all go when it's our time to go, when our journey's over. I think accidents happen too, of course, as nothing's perfect. But
absolutely.
I think for the most part, when you've done what you came here to do, that it's you move on. So
Absolutely. Okay. Ready for another one?
I am. I love these questions. I could do
Let's
this all day.
oh
I know. I'm so shy. All right, I'm gonna just start dancing too because I feel like I'm gonna.
please do. Please do. Before the next question, Mike, as you mentioned about 9/11, yeah, that's of course it was a date that I think the whole world always gonna remember, and it's as affected a lot of lives, people lives connected, like it happened to you, someone close to you. Where were you at the time? If you can share, tell me the day. Do you remember clearly where were you? What we were doing at the
Oh yeah.
time when it happened?
Yep. Yep. I was in Chicago here in Chicago. Um, I I was in my our condo. My partner and I, my ex-partner and I, had bought together our first home together, um, and it was a beautiful, beautiful sunny day. Not a cloud in the sky. I was just getting ready for work, and a friend of mine, Rich Barston, one of my best friend in college, called me up and said, Michael, where's Kirk? That was my name of my accent. I said, oh, he's in New York. He's in New York on business. I said, I got to go. I'm running late. I got to get to work. And he said, no, Michael, stop. Where in New York is he? And I said, I don't know. I said, uh, he's down in and around the Javits Center, I think, blah, blah, blah. He said, um, Michael, you're not going into work. Turn the TV on. This is, and basically right as I turned the TV on, the second plane hit within like, I don't know, maybe a minute or two. So that changed everything in a moment, right? Um, and so then I called my ex, uh, who I loved very much, and um, I asked him where was he, and we talked about what was going on. We thought it was something terrorism, something terrible, blah blah blah. And then he said he is. I heard him say he is 3 to 4 blocks from the World Trade Center, and really he was 34 blocks. Big difference. And as we're on the phone together, the second tower is coming down, and uh, his cell phone cuts out. And so there was a period of time where I thought he was gone. I didn't know what. Well, I didn't know. I didn't really think he was gone because I didn't feel like I kept thinking, are you gone? Are you here? Like I was just kind of looking to sort of feel whether he'd passed or not. And I didn't think he was gone, but I just didn't know where he was, and it was scary. I didn't panic. I stayed very calm. A couple other people called because people knew that my ex was in New York for business, and and then eventually he called back 15, maybe 20 minutes or so later.
Wow.
Um, but it was a moment where uh, a lot of folks' lives were thrown into turmoil that day. Mine was nothing compared to other folks. I can't. It's just does not even hold a candle to the things that other folks have gone through and will live with for the rest of their lives. But you know, uh, but it was a good lesson in just what's important and why. And so, yeah. So I remember exactly where I was. I spent the whole day in that condo. I spent it outside on the roof deck because it was a beautiful day. And I had we had this beautiful roof deck that had a panoramic view of the city. And I went up there when all the planes were rushed to the ground, and it was just eerie. It was so quiet. It was because you hear planes coming in and out of O'Hare. There's air traffic patterns that they come in.
Right.
So all that was gone. It was just, I mean, you could literally hear birds chirping. It seemed like 20 blocks away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember as well. I was back in Brazil. I was 1 year before I left Brazil to move to Europe. And actually, no, 1 year, no, 6 months before, because it happened September, and I moved to Europe in March 2002, sorry. And so, yeah, it was, a day that, again, people always, every year, there's a moment that people remember that and talk, and there's always a memorable day that people are going to remember.
Have you gone to the memorial by chance? Seen it?
I've been to New York City a few years ago, and yes, I visited the place, and it's really the atmosphere around. It's really, I wouldn't say heavy, but there's something around that it just for you for a minute you literally, you don't know if you smile, if you cry, if your emotions is a fix of emotions there. And what I remember, I think was weekday, wasn't too many people like tourists, but the sound of the water going down the monument was just like with the names around. It's you just take a moment. It just somehow, it doesn't matter how you're feeling, it doesn't matter how you have this energy of being in New York City, but when you get there, it's a moment that you just cool down, and the energy, it's just different. I don't know how to explain. It's just an energy there
Yeah.
that don't know how to explain.
No, I think you've done a great job explaining it. There's an energy, and it's a heavy energy. People
Yeah,
have told me, people that have gone to go see like Auschwitz or some of these concentration camps from World War
yeah,
II,
in
they
Poland, yeah.
describe the same heaviness, like a heavy air. It's something
Yeah,
somber. You know, uh, yeah. I just, but I so yeah, I know, but I think it was the most amazing, interactive, beautiful, horrific monument and memorial
yeah,
that we've ever built as as humans. I mean, we've done all kinds of stuff for wars and things like that, and terrible things, events that have happened, but this was, you couldn't leave there without having a real sense of the enormity of what happened there. Yeah.
absolutely. And it takes you straight away to the time. Where were you? Where were you doing when things happened? And I remember thinking about, my God, I'm in the place where, exactly the place where I was at the time, and I was on TV watching. Exactly, for me, it happened exactly the same way as you. I was back in Brazil, and I remember I was living with a friend, and when the plane, the first one went on, she came to William, something happened here, you should see. I was like, oh, okay, because wasn't clear what was happening. And when I was going to see, when the second one hits, and that's where I asked, like, my God, what's happening right now? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
I think one we will always remember that.
Yeah.
Hey, next question for you is, what's the biggest difference between you and your best friend?
The biggest difference between me and my best friends. Oh gosh. Um, oh my gosh, this should be an easy question, and it's not. Um, the biggest difference between me and my best friends, I would say, um, my best friends are or were, and a lot's changed for me in the last 2 years, but they were much more serious than I was. I used to always find humor in everything. I still do, but I set boundaries. Actually, that's the answer. The answer is I did not have real boundaries with my friends, and I don't mean like creepy, weird boundaries. Of course, we all have those boundaries, but I'm talking about like, just boundaries around, what to say, what not to say, what to share, what not to share, what's personal, what's not personal. I always was like, my life's an open book. My mother told me years ago I was a terrible liar when I was a kid. My ears would turn red. I had all kinds of signals that I was lying. My mom was like, "And you just are bad at it." She said, you don't even remember your lies." She's like, "My God, you either get good at it or stop doing it, for Christ's sake." That was my mother's big advice to me. But so, and then after the accident happened, I just kind of felt like I have nothing to lose. I mean, just tell it like it is, be honest and transparent. People will trust you, people will appreciate you. And so, yeah, I would say they've all had healthy, smart, intelligent boundaries set for them for decades longer than I did. Yeah. So,
All right, cool. 2 questions left. Let's do it.
okay.
Hey, Michael from Chicago. Next question is, share with us a crazy or funny story that happened to you when you were a child at school.
Okay. So I went to it's the year and a half we lived in Cleveland, Ohio, in Westlake, Ohio. And I went to St. Bernadette's Catholic School. Um, I was so it was a Catholic school, right? And it was like everything was one story. There was like a courtyard in the middle where you'd have recess. And I had all the teachers were all the teachers were not nuns. A lot of times they were just, I'm imagining, probably very devout Catholics, but they were not nuns. This one gal, uh, I probably should name her name. Anyway, she was probably a very nice woman, but for some reason, I was the loud kid in the class that if anybody was going to laugh in the class, they would hear my laugh. If 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 everybody was going to be silent and there was one last like word said, it was my word. It was I had that wonderful blessing and curse of being very outgoing, very verbose, a character of sorts. And so that didn't always work out so great for me. So this one time I was being really snarky. I was just in a weird mood and kind of I remember I was just happy, 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 kind of like that buzz you have when you're a kid. We have all this energy, you have no idea where the hell it came from
Yeah.
and what to do with it. And you're sitting at a desk and you're like, you can't stop moving, 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 moving. That was me. Always like that. And so I apparently pushed the wrong button with her. And she said, "One more outburst from you, Mr. Guerrieri, and you're going right down to sister's office." And, blah, blah, blah. And I said, "Oh, really?" Or something like that. Like something like,
Oh
yeah,
my God.
yeah. She came over with a ruler, like old school ruler. And she said, and she grabbed me by the ear and she said, "Hey, let's go. You're going right now." And I grabbed onto the desk. It was one of those flip top desks.
Oh my
I
God.
grabbed
Getting
onto the
worse.
desk and I'm like, "I'm not going." And so it became a tug of war to get me off of the desk and putting my hands and all this. And all the kids in class are laughing, thinking, "Oh, Michael, what an idiot." And I grabbed onto that desk. And it was at one point she had my feet like this, like I was like Superman holding onto the desk like this. And she was it was a battle of the wills at this point. Some pain in the, like, what, it was like 8 or 9 years old, whatever the hell I was at that time, kid. Um, well, Spirit of 76. So no, I was 6 or 7 years old. So I was a pain in the rear end kid, with a big mouth and a loud voice, who this poor, probably underpaid, overworked teacher
Oh,
had to put up with, and had to put up with his snarky, smart alecky, comments. And she's like, "Oh, I'm going to show this kid once and for all, A, who's boss, and B, that mouth of his is going to get him in trouble if he doesn't mind his manners pretty quick." And so she pulls me out of there was a front entrance to the classroom here, and then there was a back entrance we'd go out to play for recess. and she decides to pull me and my desk out the back door and drags me across the courtyard. I don't know if at some point I probably let go of the desk, I'm sure. She dragged me into the sister's office. I remember Sister Mary Rose Patrice. I have no
Oh,
idea why I remember the name, but I adored her. She was a jolly woman, just a wonderful woman. I just thought she was such a sweet, compassionate woman. I remember. And
wow.
she knew me and she thought, oh, Michael, for the love of God, what have you done now? You know, you in your mouth. And she found a humor in me. She was one of the few people that wasn't telling me to just to do this and do that and don't be this and don't be that. She was just like, you'll learn, you'll outgrow this, but you know, if it would be nice if it was sooner than later. Um, and my mother had to come in and pick me up from
Mm.
school. Yeah, she was not happy. I remember I walked and I saw her. I said, "Hi, Mom," and she said, "Shut your mouth. I'll talk to you in a moment." She went in, talked to the sister and figured out what, you know, and then took me home that day. I'm pretty sure I did not go back to school that day. So, um, yeah, but uh, it stuck in my head as one of those moments in your life where, you know, you can either continue being a loud, obnoxious kid, or you can mind your P's and Q's, right? And so anyway, it was this woman, I'm sure she's long gone, passed away. But she's that was a moment, a pivotal moment in my life, if you will, in second grade. So
And for sure, she remembers you very much. Like for the whole year, she
oh,
remembers you for sure. She never forgot.
I'm sure in her retirement she's having nightmares about me. I'm sure. And
Ready for the last one?
I am. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Last question. Hey, Michael, the last question is, would you ever get a tattoo and what that would be?
I'm sorry, would I ever do what?
Get a tattoo and what that
Yep.
would be?
Oh, I love this question. Okay. I have chickened out at getting a tattoo a dozen times. Well, all right, maybe not a dozen. I enough times. Um, I I collect and collected a lot of art. My ex and I did, and one of my favorite images, uh, not my favorite piece of art, but one of my favorite iconic sort of stenciled images was a Banksy image. We had a print or painting, no print of the image, and it was the girl with balloon, they called it, and it was the girl, the stencil of this girl, and she was reaching for this balloon, and the balloon was up. It was a red balloon, a red heart balloon, and that balloon was just out of reach. And so that image represented so many things: lost love, lost moments, hope, maybe a celebration, could be any number of things, good and bad. But I loved the image, and I wanted to get a tattoo of that on my body because I thought that's an image I will not get sick of looking at. And as I get older and my skin changes and things sort of sag, I thought it could look like part of the dress or something, maybe if it things that, you know, it could work. And then I saw it on the back of a gal who cut my hair. Her entire back had the tattoo on it,
The
and it
same
ruined
one.
me.
The same.
Same one, same one, and it ruined me. And I
Oh,
thought, I can't get this tattoo now. I can't get my little tattoo I was going to get on like my arm, my forearm. I just can't do it now because it had already been done. And of course, it had been done probably a million other times. So then I started looking at artists that really just did beautiful work. And I was going to get a peony on my arm because the peony is one of my favorite flowers. And This Japanese gal, right before 9/11, she used to spend time out in LA. And so she was going to be out there, and I was going to go out and get the tattoo done. Um, and Then, you know, COVID had happened. And so that was my latest excuse not to have it happen. And now I'm 53, and I'm like, I don't know if I really want to put anything. I don't know if there's any image right now that I can think of that really I would want a tattoo on my body. So I'm gonna hold off on it. Maybe someday I'll get one.
I think when it comes naturally, genuinely, why not? I think I'm the same as well. I'm the older I get, I start considering a tattoo, but it needs to be something genuine that I feel like. I'm not looking for it, but if it happens one day, why not? I'll be up for it. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, the first thought was like, I don't know, a picture of a dog, or as I love my dogs, or family, somebody, or friend. I don't know, but
Yeah,
that's cheesy. It's not going to look right tattooed on your body. And then where do you put it? I mean, does your friend want to be tattooed on your rear end, on your shoulder, on your back, on your chest? I mean, where? This is on your leg. So yeah. And then, so then I think the key is to find something of beauty.
yeah,
Try to find something of beauty that you're not looking for the tattoo to be a spitting image of, but like something that is representative of it, like something, an icon, uh,
absolutely.
because that's going to be much more practical and probably easier to work with as your body changes and the tattoo changes, right? So
Absolutely. So then, yet, let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking. Let's start with money.
uh, access and resources.
Fear.
Sorry,
Fear.
humans.
Family.
Loyalty.
Life.
Journey.
Love.
One word, let's see, for love would be hopeful.
Sex.
Um, escapism.
Politics.
Sad.
Religion.
Misunderstanding, or yeah, it's just misunderstanding. I think it's just yeah.
Friendship.
Love.
Desire.
Love.
Regret.
Tragic.
One word for success.
Happiness.
Wish.
Hope.
One word for happiness.
Success.
One word for Chicago.
Eclectic.
And the last one now, USA, one word.
Mm. Falling.
Let's pretend I'm going to meet your mom for a coffee, and I'm going to ask her, define Michael in one positive word and one negative word only. What should say?
So I think my mother would say giving would be a positive word.
Okay.
Negative word would be boundaryless to a
Okay.
fault. That's not one word.
That's okay. That's okay. Not
Yeah,
a problem.
yeah. I think I just made up a word. Boundaryless. Is that word? Is that a word? It's a word. Yeah. Anyway.
Let's play now, Michael and the Magic Box, and you can ask me a question. But before that, let's play the music one more time. Let's do it.
Okay.
Right. You can ask me a question now, Michael.
What? Well, so why are you doing this? And I think there's sort of a tag on question with that, which is this what you do? Is this like is this a hobby? Is this fun? Or is this maybe something you like to maybe turn into something more than a hobby? Or is it your like full work and passion?
Um, It's a bit of everything. It's something that I was born for it. I started doing the show in 2020, and it's something that I'm not doing as full time yet, but something that I'd like to, something that I'm working hard for. I want to get the show in a much bigger proportion. I have other projects as well that I would like to do connect with the show as well. And yes, it's something that it feeds my soul. It's something that makes me the happiest. I just remember that I'm recording when I look here on the side, because for me, I feel like it's so natural for me that I feel like I'm just talking to a friend. And I've been so grateful to connect with so many people around the globe, and
Mm.
be able to hear so many stories, like you shared so many interesting stories today. And I think I'll tell you something, Michael. This show, it meant to be for me, because I have no idea. I could do this for 24 hours, no stop, that I'll feel the happiest. And it's something that, I think people who knows me very well, they go like, my God, William, it's so you, like doing the show, and people who participate as well, they send me messages, they go, my God, it's a experience. You literally just made memories right now. And I think I'm
Yeah.
so grateful to be able to connect with so many people and, have the best experience. And I think every interview I do, is different, even though some questions they repeat, but the answers are different, and people they have shared different stories, different memories. And I think that's about the show. The show is about for you to be yourself, express yourself without any judgment, and and be able to connect with people as well. So I think that's something that it makes me the happiest every time when I'm connected with a new person here, for sure.
I get that. I get the energy from you. I can tell this is something you just love to do. So have you met anybody? Have you, I mean, you're obviously meeting a ton of people. So have any like what you believe to be like lifelong friendships or relationships been found through the people that you've met like this?
You mean like to be connected with me, like as in a
Yeah,
relationship?
like like somebody, maybe they would be I'm sorry, where are you located again? Remind me.
In London,
That's
England,
right.
London.
So you're London. So maybe somebody in Chicago or I don't know, pick any city or just Brazil that you just felt like this connection with a guy or girl. It doesn't matter. It's not about that. It's just about like this connection that you have. And you would just jump on a plane and think to yourself, I know this is crazy. I've only chatted with this person 2 or 3 times, but I'm going to get on a plane and I'm going to go visit them. And we're going to go do something and have a great week together and just do some great stuff together. Anything like that.
Good question. Actually, I mean, I've done over 1,200 interviews here on the show so far. And I tell you, honestly, there are so many people here that I had the interview with, that when I stop, when I stop the interview, some of them go like, oh my God, I would marry this person, or I would have a moment with this person, or I would, do something, like personal with this person. So I could tell so many situations that, it's a connection here happening, you know what I mean? So of course,
Yeah.
talk to people. Of course, absolutely. I had so many moments, of course, that I would like, oh, I would literally, have, I would like to get to know this person more, like in an intimate way, for sure. So yeah, of course, I think when you connect with people, when you are open-minded and yourself, when you are to the self, you can feel the vibe of the person, and it can happen in an interview, can happen, like in a bar, or it can happen anywhere. So I think it's I could tell so many stories that talking to
Sure.
people here, that I would go like, oh, I didn't tell, of course, because I think I see here as a moment that is about the show, is about, but of course I'm a human being, and when I switch off here the interview, I go like, oh, I would love to have this person by my side. Anyway,
I wonder if you ever do you track like the life and death of some of these folks? Or I know it's a morbid thought, but like, how do you know when they're gone?
I mean, from the show,
Yeah,
that
like, well, just. I mean, 'cause you're interviewing people. I mean, nothing I've said today is that terribly interesting or life changing. But I guess probably a lot of folks that are doing this don't necessarily tell all their friends and family that they've done it. And there could be some really amazing moments that they are sharing that they didn't get to share with somebody that now they're gone and they would love to hear. I don't know.
Through those, over 1,000 interviews that I've done, there are four people that sadly they passed away, and I find out from family who contact me, because they don't know, contact for family, from friends, people contact me. Like the last person that happened, a lovely man from Wales, and I remember exactly when you did the interview, and I received a message of his best friend in email saying that sadly he passed away. He left a young child and a girlfriend as well, and she said, like, she literally made, like, I felt so emotional because she said to me, William, when I watched the memories of him, the interview we did with him, it's just like over and over. The family, they were so grateful for me for this moment, because is there forever. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I could tell so many stories, that not many, but in other occasion I can tell you, like others, that I receive emails and people connect me, and of course those people is there. The memory is going to be there forever, and I'm so, the emails I received because of that. Sadly, it was something sad, but the way they express themselves, they were so thankful and grateful for this, for the show, and for the memories that are kept here, because somehow it warmed their hearts when they watched scene, because they are literally here being themselves, from how they can see the energy there. So
Yeah.
that, again, that's why I'm grateful for it as well. So yeah.
Cool beans. Well, look, it was so very nice meeting you. Thank you very much for even doing this with me. I think it's really cool what you're doing.
Thank you so
I think
much.
it's such a great use of this type of technology. I think there's something big you're still supposed to like find or do. There's something that hasn't been quite done yet, but this is something big from this that's going to come of it, I think. So
Oh,
this is just, it's one of those ideas that you think it's just a fun little hobby thing, or think but there's something that's going to happen one day and be like, that's why I've been doing this. This is exactly why. And you'll have a moment, and that it'll hit you, I think. I hope so. I hope for you.
thank you so much, Mike. Thanks so much. But before you go, if you briefly you can just say a message or anything that you live by, a positive message.
When people show you who they are, believe them the first time. It's a Maya Angelou quote that I have been repeating for 40 years, 30 years. And it's something I always thought I lived by. And sadly, everybody has blinders on, but sadly, you make excuses for things. And that's, I think, what Maya meant when she said, when people show you who they are, not when they say who they are, not when they talk a big talk, but their actions speak louder than words. And it's not a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. But when there's a pattern and someone's really saying to you, you're not that important, or, you really are very important to me. Please pay attention. You have to pay attention to those things, because that's all we take with us, I think. Anyway, that's it. There you go.
Thank
You got
you
it.
so much, Mike. Thank you. So it was a pleasure connect with you. And I see you
bet.
sometime somewhere in Chicago or somewhere in the world, okay?
Yes, you bet. All right.
It was a pleasure, okay? Take care, okay?
You
Bye-bye.
too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye-bye. See you next time.